So yeah, we've done Teddy, the derivatives. You know, I don't know exactly what we're gonna do with the derivatives, like Bobby Lockhart. Should we even keep Bobby Lockhart? Maybe not. I think there's probably room for that. I do like the dynamic of the two brothers. Of this man younger brother Bobby is running for Senate.
Yeah, he was supposed to be kind of like a kind of talking head politician.
Yeah, maybe a little dumber and a little more naive than Teddy. Definitely not as like bloodthirsty. There's different dynamics you could do there. You could make it be where Bobby is constantly getting in like scandals that Teddy has to like put out fires to protect his political career, something funny like that.
And then at some point, cave babies were involved. Just like we just started riffing off this stupid idea. It was like a vaudeville type of thing, and it was just like we just sort of just say like something, man, like his cave baby, or it was like Archie said something about like having, it was some stupid scenario. It was like super high stakes, like obviously that would never ever happen, but like something like that in something we did definitely never film, but like it was like something like Archie having dinner at like Teddy's place, and like out of nowhere like he finds out that he has this baby that's like with his like mistress, I guess, and like on the side I guess he like has a side chick that he has like an affair with, and it's like basically he like keeps it like under like the floorboards of his house. It's just like super dark.
That's definitely getting into magic.
Yeah, and he was just like coming out, and then like Archie Adams was like, look at that like luminescent cave baby thing, like God, get it away from me. Kill it. Jeez, freaking trains.
Just to wrap up the Teddy thing, cave babies. That's getting into like magic, realism territory, and like another thing that I thought it was just the timeline but the story where he falls in love with a pig and he's like dancing with it and stuff. And that's just like, would that even happen? I don't know. But anyway, you can tell that you do trash now.
Yeah. Well, one more thing about the cave babies is like I think we might want to resurrect them a little bit. Just because like there is something to the inner logic that guides them, because they're like, so like one manifestation of cave babies is that Teddy takes on like this weird nurturing motherly thing where he like starts breastfeeding. Like one of the cave babies.
Ew.
Like no,
disgusting.
Like somehow he's able to lactate, I guess.
Yeah, he just spontaneously
and then
lactates now.
Times of stress. But like basically the cave babies were supposed to be like these very fractious creatures that you couldn't
no sunlight,
no sunlight.
Rays,
they have to
nothing.
be no UV rays. Otherwise,
you can't expose them to water. They'll melt if you expose them to water.
Temperatures or anything like sound, like anything above like a certain decibel, like they above 11 decibels.
Yeah, the temperature has to be exactly 68 degrees.
You have to like put them in like these like very like almost like glass box kind of structures. And they're like contained, limited. They have to be in this weird, like independent ecosystem. And they're just like like
giant iron lung bubble,
like a freaking like pod thing. Yeah. And they're just like
HEPA filtration system for the air.
Yeah, they're just very like they don't even talk. They just kind of like, they're like,
they're babies.
They never like you never know what the cave babies become. Like, do they grow up to be cave adults? Like nobody fucking knows.
Do they even grow older, or do they just stay in the perpetual state of babydom?
Yeah, they never grow. Well, that's the thing about cave babies. Like, you got to keep them. Like, you have to keep them at one age.
You got to keep them at the right temperature.
Yeah, because
they won't grow.
Yeah, because they always. Is it a thing where it's like a catch-22 where all the cave babies cave babies are actually able to progress in age, like kind of like people with progeria or whatever, but like. But you never know because they always freaking die every time.
Yeah.
Or is it a thing where
and also I'm just making this up off the cuff right now. It'd be a thing where maybe the strongest cave baby does survive, and it just when it gets older, it just looks like the old version of Rapo Genius. It looks like the adult version. Yeah, they're like maybe if a cave baby, it's a weird thing where cave babies are super fragile, but if any of them happen to somehow manage to get to adulthood and mature, they all of a sudden become this like radiant, luminescent, perfect aesthetic form,
like
super strong, invulnerable, like superhuman strength, like muscular, jacked, without exercising ever. And it's like, no, the cave babies are finally growing up. Only the strongest survived.
Yeah, but they never actually make it.
Yeah, because they're so damn fragile.
But then there was also this other character, like a throwaway character, or like a guardian character that sounds like Wallace Shawn kind of. Where it's like, my cave babies can't exist outside this. He's like constantly whining. He's like, constantly gets himself in situations where he's like driving. It's like, my cave babies, and then there was like a giant ass enormous like parade going on.
Yeah,
time I took the
there's
cave
always
babies
these
out
like
for a walk,
cartoonish situations that end up putting them in danger. No, no, you can't make noise. The cave babies will die.
It's like, my cave babies can't take that much salt.
Yeah, this is a very like 50s like carnival barker type weird
and he's
character.
like, and then like there's like weird things where like Gary Mulls like it's like playing like a very loud stereo, like it's just like I want to play and like the interaction between him and like
busts all the babies.
Like,
they just blow up.
Or trashy bad bitch moments where Gary Mulls like is like in like high heels like walks over that guy and he's just like
yeah. Gary Mulls scares me.
Yeah, Gary Mulls.
I guess we'll talk about Gary Mulls now.
So you segued over to that, but like Gary Mulls is like another kind of catch-all character that like has splits off into different personalities and manifestations, and like basically his main thing is like at first he was like supposed to be like a harmless kind of like slightly Justin Bieber-esque like kind of boy pop star kind of guy that's like it's roughly supposed to like kind of be kind of a younger generation, kind of like maybe like early 20s or whatever, but like he never like really kind of hardened into that. Like he's never, because like there's other parts, like basically I think the first thing we ever really did with Gary was like the whole like the story anecdotal thing where he's like recounting like Leonardo DiCaprio on the set of
the audio sketches like, where it's like a radio interview or something.
Because we had just watched like The Revenant like circa 2015 or 2016, and like we're just like, what if like Gary Mulls just like inserted himself and like just saying all this shit like I was actually Leo's personal coach, like we actually like made sure like he was like eating right, I was like behind the scenes like making sure.
Wasn't it Gary Mulls who also claimed to have had a relationship with Brad Pitt too?
Yeah.
Or was it was both Gary was claiming that he knew Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio. Yeah. I think that's the only canon appearance of Gary Mulls is just those audio sketches with the interviews.
Because we can never really like focus on like, because like some of it makes me think like some of it's like him is like more of like kind of like just very lame like I'm just Gary Mulls, like it's just like he's like like Stephen. I don't know why he like looks like Stephen Hawking. He's like my name's just Gary Mulls. I just want to like make people happy and like sing my music. And then there's this other version of him which is like sweet like he's just like, and
also like
because like that's
very
there has
violent.
to be. But one thing that is sure I think is canon is like Gary Mulls' transition from like just like kind of like sheepish and like kind of doing these like indie kind of heartthrob things where he's like, hey guys, I'm Gary Mulls. I'm gonna be in this new movie. It's kind of gonna be called Boggs, and it's like about me, kind of like a Johnny Depp type of thing where I'm just kind of playing this like
doesn't he play like some kind of alien goop in that or something?
There's one where he's making fun of Mac and Me, where it's like basically, or we're making fun of that movie, where it's like basically it's like something alien space creature, and then it's like Gary Mulls plays this like alien goop in like a fucking, and it's like E.T., but it's just way worse, and like that scene where like, you know, like E.T.'s like in the baby carriage, but like with the Gary Mulls it's like he's got such a like degradation where it's like where it's like E.T., like an actual like kind of membrane thing that's actually at least can be
a bipedal creature, looks like a mammal sort of. I mean,
strange, but like alluring or whatever, like, you know.
And then Maccabee is like this
it looks like a fucking kid with progeria. It's like what? It's just like kind of like it was making these little noises or whatever.
And then you get to Gary Mulls, who is literally just a pile of goop with eyes or something.
Yeah, it's just like a pile of goop with like two eyes there.
Wasn't there? I don't know if this is canon or whatever, but there was a sex scene too where he somehow has sex even though he's a pile of goop.
It's like And it's like, I wrote that specifically into the movie. The director said, like,
He
no,
wrote it.
it's like, it can't be NC-17. It has to be PG. And I was like,
Like he was trying to jump from PG to NC-17.
Yeah, he was like trying to like risk it. Like there's like this
Risk
weird
it
like,
all.
version of it. Yeah, there's like, yeah. And then like,
So yeah, Gary Mulls, pop star, and then there was also, and just the freeform ideas started to get a little out of hand, at least on my end with Gary Mulls, where I had this idea that Gary Mulls is actually the Chinese AI robot, where he's like literally not real, never was real.
Or something out of Black Mirror.
Yeah, he was manufactured from the start by the Chinese Communist Party and sent to America as sort of an undercover, whatever, psyop thing to become an international sensation, pop star.
Yeah, he was like perfectly constructed, kind of in a lab to be
laboratory
to become
made,
like to be
USDA
like a lifelike
certified,
thing, so.
grade A, the next Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
Except for the problem is then he starts like malfunctioning, and that explains all the violent outbursts where he's like, he like stabs somebody or kills somebody or stomps somebody with his high heeled boots or whatever, his high heeled shoes or whatever the hell he's wearing. Like all of that is explicable by by the lights of him actually being AI robot.
Because I think that would also explain like maybe, but then I'm not sure how it would fit in with the other kind of story where Gary Mulls at some point is like kind of comes out of this like kind of like thing of like where he's like, oh, he's like nice and he's this and he's that, he's like he's a nice indie heartthrob, and then like the next second he just comes out like I'm a fucking bad bitch, and it's just like comes out like Miley Cyrus.
I was literally just gonna say it's the Miley Cyrus art
on steroids where he's just
slash
like,
the
he's just like on stage and like walking around in spandex and just like
where he just where it's all about like sucking and fucking.
It's just like literally like
it's just total
fucking fuck.
Like it's something or Gary Mulls holes or whatever.
Yeah, it's just like
it just starts to get like
every single hole.
it starts to get like abjectly like degenerate and just gross and weird.
He just fucks anything that moves, anything that lands, and it's like
it's got two legs.
Or his like weird fake like the father figure character that comes in. It's like you've been throwing orgies with whoever, like willy-nilly, just throw in a goat in there, why not? Like throw in like men, woman.
It's like almost a Minx type character, like scolding him from the high up pulpit or whatever.
Just like
casting judgment down on him for what he's done.
Like, and then there comes Nigel. I don't even know how that
match made in hell.
It's just like Nigel is basically kind of like the inverse, is like presented as if he's like the inverse to Gary Mulls. Like he's like, or at least that's what he says he is, like the unreliable narrator, I guess, where he's like, I'm a trained concert pianist. I play Rachmaninoff and I play all the great classics. And I just started talking in this voice, like it's like I play all these like the pretty piano, and I can play it very, very well, and I can play.
And he looks down on Gary Mulls. He's like this disgusting pop culture icon. He's denigrating music. He's dragging music.
He has
down
the death
to
knell of the music industry. He's like the idea.
No one, young people nowadays don't appreciate classical music because they're listening to Gary Mulls.
Yeah, like Gary Mulls is diverting them, leading them down the wrong path. And
so clearly he hates Gary Mulls. He hates him. And yet. And then it turns into
he's like totally completely like
love story.
He's like totally like is like all for Gary, just like I love you, Gary. I love Gary Mulls. I love Gary Mulls. I love Gary. I don't even know why. I just like like it's just something if he represses it maybe. Whereas at first he's like, no, I wouldn't ever do that. It's like Gary Mulls plays, to the day I die, I would play my Rachmaninoff and my Sibelius concertos.
And that's the thing where either he becomes like a groupie of Gary Mulls for a while or something, or maybe it's a thing where he never gets in the inner circle. Gary Mulls barely even knows he exists, or
never even acknowledges
it. But at some point, and this is critical, he's like, I love you, confesses love or whatever, and Gary Mulls is like, ew. Like Gary Mulls just utterly rejects it. Gary Mulls is like, why the fuck would you ever think I would ever love you or like you or anything to do with you? You're old, you're gross. And Gary Mulls is all about shame. It's just like, ew, you're old. Like
he doesn't fit into this algorithm. Like, ew, like you can't be like
you will never be like me. You'll never be as popular as me. You're old. You're boring. You like Gary Mulls music.
Gary Mulls himself is like kind of getting old too, and in a weird way.
He's trying to do plastic surgery. He's trying to bog himself out. He's constantly undergoing procedures. under the knife,
Under
24/7.
Botox is like
his face
fillers.
face looks like he ran into a beehive with Botox. Like
It's like,
I can't.
but it's like
move my
it's so
face.
beautiful, and even still, I don't even know.
Yeah,
No. But
Gary Mulls thinks that like once you turn like 23, you're just fucked. You're old, you're disgusting, and from there on, you have to get Botox endlessly.
Yeah, and then there's
trying to stay young forever.
The thing with like Nigel is that he's confesses his love, and he's like, you know, I think I'm, you know, he's like running around, he's like he's like going to all these different like record stores. He's like, I'll buy any Gary Mulls CD you've got. He's like, I book the tours, and then he's like going to all these concerts, and he's like attending them. He's like in the mosh pit, and then he's like, get the fuck out of my way. He's like, old lady. To get to Gary Mulls, he like pushes this old lady.
But this is
so violent.
important though. Depending on how far you want to push this, this is just such a small moment, but I think it's important. He could push old women out of the way onto the floor to get to Gary Mulls. He wants to get to the front of the line to see Gary Mulls. But the other version of things is, even though he's supposedly trying to get to the front of the line, he literally grabs an old lady who's barely even in his way, and like he goes stabs her or like punches her. Like he attacks her purposely, going out of his way to attack her to get to Gary Mulls. It makes no sense. But like once he's fully in the sway of Gary Mulls, he's enthralled by Gary Mulls, obsessed. He's like willing to kill and does kill for Gary Mulls. I would kill for you, Gary. Yeah. So
and he's like basically.
I really like that plot line and those characters, like that dynamic. I think is really funny. Like that should be mine.
Then there's the whole dynamic of him trying to like wheedle his way and try to like get Gary's attention, where he's like, I'm gonna be a Gary, I'm here. He's like, one lucky person here is gonna be able to dance. He's like, over here, get the fuck out of the way. He's like literally
stabs.
It's like kind of like remember the Lady Gaga thing when Lady Gaga or like the one Polish guy or something wanted to meet on that fake Ellen show, like wanted to meet Lady Gaga, and then he got her attention by he was like put like this giant balloon in the audience or something, just like really cringe. But like that's kind of like what like Nigel does. He's like, it's like I'm over here. It's like I'm over here. He's like Gary. It's like oh gosh. Yeah. He's like
anybody but that fucking old guy, that old fuck. I don't want to pick him. Is there anybody like hot and young in the audience? Ew. But
hot young blood. And then there's another part where he's like, he somehow does get Gary to like pay attention to him, and he's like he earns his like respect in some level. Like he's like because like he sees that like guy like Nigel's willing to like do like he's like willing to like kind of like tear it out and like do all this shit to get to Gary, like to beeline to Gary Mulls, and he's I actually like you're a sick fuck, Nigel. I like that or something. It's like you get to play on one of the dance teams or something. But
you have to fight the previous groupie to the death first. He's like, okay, give me a stick or something. He just stabs him. He's like, I meant like Battle of the Wits or something. You just fucking murdered them. He's like, I don't care.
And he's like, I actually kind of like that.
That's disturbing. And then
he's like,
there's different, and which also sort of mirrors the Albus Urban Dusty thing. We'll have to get to that too, but. The obsessive thing, like please accept me, all that. But another thing could maybe Gary Mulls uses Nigel to do his like actual dirty work. He's like, so this person, I'm gonna need you to like get rid of them, like kill them. Even if I can spell it out for you, you old dumb.
Like, of course I do anything.
I'll do anything
for you.
And he kills people for Gary Mulls. But then it could, that could go any number of directions. Where maybe it's a thing where like Gary Mulls is involved with like gangs in LA, and he's like, I need you to kill this coke dealer, and who's actually like kind of high up the totem pole. But I can't get my hands dirty with this. Like there's so there's
like I can't have another PR disaster. People have seen too many sightings.
Nothing to do with it. But really, of course, the whole time, Gary Mulls is just using Nigel. He doesn't give a shit about Nigel at all. He's using him 1,000%, and he will
friends
cut him
out,
loose.
It turns into like a weird sappy thing. And he's like, but I found out it was never supposed to be about like the looks. It was supposed to be about the spirit and the heart. It's like,
it's like the message of my movie.
But like.
Goop or whatever his movie was called.
Goop Alien Goop Child.
So then there's that. There's
another Nigel thing where he's like on one of the dance teams or whatever, and he's like dancing off with like one of the people, and he's like trying to get all the moves like perfectly correct, and he's like, I've studied these moves, and as I've studied these, I think just like he studied at the classical piano, like he's like, I studied these moves for 8 hours a day, and I know that he's not even doing it right. He's not even, like he's supposed to be one of the best of the people. Like if he's even in your echelon of even like 20, if he's even like 200 meters away from you, he should still be on his A game at all times. And he's like, Gary Mulls takes him aside. He's like, listen, Nigel, you care too much about like the specifics and making everything so precise.
Not about
it's not about
it
like,
perfect or not.
No, it's about the heart.
It's like
the
heart, like Nigel can barely understand the concept of like passion. Like it's all about just the technical. It's technically it's perfect. You know, he doesn't have the soul. There's no soul. He's dead inside. Gary has the soul, like sort of, but the content is trash, of course.